Well, good morning, everybody. So good to see everyone here. I hope you're having a great day. I certainly am. And I'm thinking about sharing some thoughts with you about something that for me can create delays, frustrations, a little angst, um, but in which I do. Play a active part um, pretty much once or twice a month at least, sometimes much more often. Sometimes it seems like I get locked into it and I spend a lot of time in this place. And the place that I'm talking about is one that I think you've probably visited more than once. It's a nation called procrastination. And with that said, here we go. Uh, I spend a lot of time on any given day thinking about things I shoulda do, coulda do, or woulda do. Uh, Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I don't know if you've ever said that. Uh, but I certainly have. There are many things that I know I should be doing. I may not be, but I should be actively participating and pursuing some topic, issue, activity, whatever. Uh, there are a lot of things that I know I do when I'm putting them off. I don't know about you, but I sometimes put stuff off. I don't get right to it. I procrastinate. Uh, I can think of 10 million reasons why I do this, but they're all excuses. And I have found people sometimes don't like to acknowledge that they're making excuses for things that they know they should be doing and would ultimately make their life better if they would just get on with it and quit wasting all this time putting things off, procrastinating. And then there are things I would like to be doing. And I've also discovered that if I did not spend so much time procrastinating and putting stuff off, I probably would have plenty of time to do the things that I should be doing and also to do the things that I would like to be doing. Procrastination is often my brain's way of avoiding uncomfortable feelings. Maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's boredom, maybe it's insecurity, maybe it's self doubt that ultimately is associated with whatever the task is that I tend to be putting off. Um, One of the things that I struggle with, I don't know if you do or not, is closet cleaning. Um, I have clothes in there in not so much now, but because I've gradually gotten better at it, but it is a work in progress, that are a variety of sizes. I have clothes in there that are a variety of styles that may or may not someday come back in style, but I keep them in that closet, hopefully. I'm not sure why I keep them in that closet. But at any rate, I struggle with the 2 year rule that says that if you haven't worn it in 2 years, you need to throw it out. Um, that's a hard one for me. And it is a way of procrastinating because I have some clothes that I think probably aren't 2 years old since their last wearing, but actually maybe 2 decades old. And that's scary that I've held on to something that I am not using for that long a period of time. And it's just not in my clothes closet. It could be in storage areas in the kitchen. It could be storage areas in the garage, anywhere where I can put something and say, oh, I might need that someday. Better hold on to it. uh, chances are really, really good that I'm probably not going to use it someday, and it's just taking up space. Maybe it's reminding me of something uh, that was a treasured memory. Uh, am I afraid I'll lose the memory if I get rid of whatever it is that I'm hanging on to that is tangible, that I can look at, be reminded of, feel, touch, whatever? Uh, I'm not sure. Uh, I know that there are a lot of common root causes, and some of them include a degree of perfectionism. And I do think many of us do have that degree of perfectionism. Uh, that fear that your output won't be good enough, that may be making me not want to even start it to begin with. So I just put it away and say, well, I'll get to that another time when I have more time to do it right. What's right, you know. Um, have the malls gotten into it to where it's not even wearable anymore? I don't know. It's been forever since I've looked at the garment that I may be clinging to with such fervor and tenacity. Um, but at any rate, uh, good enough is quite ambiguous, uh, a phrase to use. If you do your best, whatever your best is, it is by definition good enough because it was the best you could do. And we aren't meant to be perfect anyway. We are meant to learn and grow, to be works in progress, and to aim for improvement and value improvement. Uh, I can't imagine reaching a point in my life where everything was perfect. I think that would be so boring to just say, well, here I am, the world's most perfect person. I have nothing to do, nothing to aim for, nothing to set my sights on, because after all, I am perfect. And then I think another thing that is a root cause sometimes to delaying doing what we know we really should be doing is the ambiguity of the task. Actually feeling overwhelmed because the project is too huge, or the next steps may be really cloudy and unclear. I know if I said to myself, self, this is the day you're going to clean out all your closets, I would probably implode and say, I don't think so. That me, a major mover, and four strong men are going to have to begin. It is way too much for me to begin that. But what I can do is break this down into small, manageable parts that I can get to and get done in a reasonable period of time. I'm capable of making it more defined, more doable. Um, Last night, it was really funny. I went into my office and I had a mission. I was going to do something very clear, very precise. And I did the something, and then I looked at the file cabinet over in the corner of the office, and I thought, I've been saying that I need to clean out that file cabinet. There's a bunch of old stuff in there I need to get rid of for months and months and months. And there it sits, untouched, still as full of unnecessary material as it was the day I ever first gave it thought. Let me just look in it. And so I went over and I opened it. Well, lo and behold, there's a green garbage bag in there. A pinch of, apparently at some point in time, I had armed myself with the tool in case I ever went back there. So I took the green garbage bag out and I began to sort through it. Just the one file, not every file in my office, just that one. Well, lo and behold, in a very short period of time, I filled that green garbage bag, and that file was really neat and tidy, and I could find things and all the things that I had been holding on to for quite a long period of time was now in the green garbage bag. And so I tied it up, shut the door, and I walked out of the room a happy camper because the task suddenly became not ambiguous. It became manageable. I did not feel overwhelmed. And I felt a great sense of confidence and accomplishment. And I will tell you, a couple of times during the rest of the evening, I came back in the room and admired my nice, neat file drawer. I was pleased. I was proud of myself. I had accomplished something. So, there again, there are ways in which we can prepare ourselves for success when we are hesitant about even starting a task. Um, Also, I think that lack of relevance uh, in doing whatever the activity is sometimes delays us taking action. If I see no reason to do it, why am I doing it? My logical mind doesn't tend to go there very often. And I find myself even having those thoughts when I'm thinking about, oh, I need to get in there and throw out all the storage containers in the kitchen that either don't have matching bottoms or don't have matching lids, and all the gadgets that I thought were going to be the next best time saver in my life, that actually, when I tried them, were a pain in the tushy, and I never used them again. I just threw them in the back of the cupboard or the back of the drawer. All those things. They don't really call to me an urgent need for action, but are they filling up space that I could certainly use for many other things that would make my life easier? Yes, they are. I know back in the day, I actually remodeled my kitchen. It's not something I recommend for the faint of heart, by the way. Uh, Remodeling your kitchen can be just traumatic in every which way possible. But when I had finally been forced to go through everything, I am sorry to tell you I had 5 big bags of things that simply needed to go. They needed to be thrown out. Old utensils used for cooking, mismatched containers, gadgets of all kinds, like we've mentioned. I had it all in there. No wonder I couldn't find anything. No wonder everything fell out every time I tried. Once I got it organized, I did promise myself that if I bring something in new, it has to fit and something has to go. And the new thing must be better than whatever it is replacing. And I've actually stuck to that, and it makes the process of preparing food so much more of a pleasure to know that things I need are there and I don't have to fight through the debris of past choices that did not work out well. So, relevance I found to be very helpful when it comes to this. And while we're talking about this issue of procrastination, I would just like to remind you that this is actually a loop, and it continues unless you can break it and actually step outside of it. Uh, it starts with, first of all, putting it off. Uh, it feels good at first to just say, oh, I'll get to it later. I don't want to do it right now. But that comment actually triggers a negative feedback loop. And the first thing is delaying, avoiding the task. If you don't start, you're never going to complete it, right? That sounds like something very simple to say, but it's also something very true. If you do not start, you're never going to get it done. So, That's the first part of that negative feedback loop. Um, Yeah, you're going to get short-term stress relief because, oh, well, I don't have to do it today. I put it off until tomorrow for whatever reason I can think of. And I guarantee you the reason is a flimsy excuse for putting it off most of the time. And you experience the short-term comfort in that, like, oh, I dodged a bullet. I don't have to get in there and do that thing that I really don't want to do for whatever reason. I don't want to do it. Um, Not helpful. Uh, then I think we sometimes panic because we begin to see that we're going to repeat this cycle. It's going to come back and remind me it still hasn't been done, and I begin to get negative emotions about it. I'm feeling guilty. Um, I'm feeling a little anxious. I'm feeling a little remorse because maybe I'm getting something new that I need to make room for, and I don't have room for it because I keep putting off making room for whatever it is. And then I begin to make excuses about it. Oh, well, I didn't have time. Well, the phone rang and Mildred needed me and blah, blah, blah. And, or, I'll get to it tomorrow. Well, tomorrow, my dear friends, as we always know, never, ever comes because before tomorrow actually gets here, it's become today. And here you are again, not having done the thing that you said you needed to get done. So you're starting all over again, making excuses. And you have to own these excuses. And I know that is one of the hardest things to do when you're a procrastinator is to own the excuses and take responsibility for them. You'll I find myself, and I'm sure you do too, say, oh, I'm not making an excuse. I mean, after all, that was so important. I just had to devote my time to it. No, you didn't. Uh, you could have gotten to it maybe later on that evening when things quieted down and your time was not truly urgently demanded. Uh, we tend to make a lot of excuses for things we do not wish to do. So, what I've learned is a few ways on how to overcome the tendency to procrastinate. Breaking this cycle requires shifting from relying on motivation to actively manage my environment and my emotions. Uh, because no matter how much I try, I'm not going to be fully motivated to clean out underneath the basin in the powder room at my house. I'm just not. And yeah, uh, you know, I'm not going to be motivated highly to clean out all of the old medications, lotions, ointments, whatever might be in the medicine cabinet in there, though all of us should on a regular basis do that for everyone's safety. At any rate, is I need to break that cycle that requires shifting from relying on motivation to do the task to actively managing my environment and my emotions. First of all, I need to forgive myself for not doing it. It's just, sorry, Barbara, you're getting to it now. Good girl, good girl. Research shows that self-forgiveness reduces the guilt, and that's a good thing. Um, Break the task down also, I find to be so very helpful. Maybe I won't take on the entire bathroom tonight, but maybe I'll take on under the sink or maybe I'll take on the cabinet. Whatever. You can always break it down and simplify it. And make a larger project much more manageable by focusing only on a small actionable part of the project. Take it one step at a time and hold on securely, but continue to move forward. Uh, Also, I find that using the 5 minute rule is one of my best helpful tips. I tell myself that I'm only working on the task for 5 minutes. Often just getting started, that first 5 minutes is the hardest hurdle for me to overcome. And once I get started, I find I really enjoy it and I don't want to stop until it is done. But that first minutes rather, is really the hard part. Sort of like taking a walk. Have you ever procrastinated about taking a walk? Well, the first thing you got to do is get up off the couch. Once you stand up, you might as well go for a walk. You're in the position to do so anyway. See what I mean? Break it down into small steps. Even if you just walk for 5 minutes, at least you've walked for 5 minutes. That's more than you would have done if you had made an excuse to keep sitting down. Also, try to remove distractions from wherever the area is to uh, make it too easy to reach out for a diversion, to get you off task, as it were, and into something else that doesn't accomplish what you've set out to do. So, let me give you 10 tips real quick. Get yourself started by believing in your ability to succeed. Yes, I can do this. Not I shoulda, not I woulda, not I coulda, but I can and I will. Right. Number two, set several concrete deadlines for yourself. Start with one, do it today, and make it happen. One concrete deadline that you're not going to find an excuse not to do. Number three, eliminate as many distractions from your surroundings as you possibly can. So only you and that one thing are your field of focus. Number four, break the large steps into manageable, small, and medium action steps. And then accomplish as many as you feel comfortable doing, maybe within that first 5 minutes, which might inspire you to continue going into more and more areas. But if not, you have made an accomplishment. You have taken a step toward meeting a goal. Remember to reward yourself for whatever efforts you were able to achieve, whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be anything big. It can just be going out on the patio now that the weather is great and enjoying a glass of ice water and watching the neighborhood and taking some deep breaths and relaxing. Reward yourself. This one I find really interesting for those people who love to make lists. I'm not much of a list maker myself, but I can see the advantage of this, and that is to check off days on which you do complete tasks. I have a girlfriend that had a project she was wanting to get done in her garage. And this had been going on for 9 months. And it wasn't a great big project, but she'd been putting it off. And I suggested to her one day when we were talking, I said, have you still got your calendar? Because she uses a monthly calendar. And she said, yeah. And I said, and you flip the pages, don't you, every month? And she said, yes, I do. I said, go back to the day when, because it was a New Year's resolution for her. And I said, and mark off on that calendar every day you didn't start this project. And she said, oh, I don't want to do that because I still haven't started it. I said, that's the whole point. Look at all the days that have gone by. I said, now get a different colored pen and begin marking off the days where you make an effort to accomplish what you set out to do. Maybe you didn't finish it, but you did something on it. And time went by, and one day we were talking, as we do most mornings, and she said, Barb, do you realize it has been 2.5 weeks and I've done a little bit every day? And I look at that calendar and I see those bright blue check marks on those days, and I feel so much better about this thing. I think I'm going to get it done. I said, I am so glad. So then, streak of days that you've been working towards something sometimes is very encouraging. Uh, Tip number 7 is to avoid a perfectionist mindset and implement your plan. Just, you don't have to be perfect to do it. You just have to try your best. So throw out the need you think you have to do everything perfectly before you start it, because you won't ever do anything if you have to do it perfectly at the beginning. You may never get it perfect, but you can make it better and better and better as you go along. Number 8, visualize and focus on the end goal instead of the task itself. Where are you going to with this? That you want to be able to open a door and find something just by reaching in and knowing where it is. That's a wonderful accomplishment to have. So set your mind on the goal, not on the process to get to the goal. That might really help to encourage you to keep on going. Number 9 is try to figure out when, how, and why you're putting this off. Maybe you're not ready to let go of it. Maybe it holds a special memory that you haven't dealt with. Give yourself grace, give yourself time, and deal with the reason you're trying to hold on to this or not get started on it. That can help you grow as a person and enrich your life in ways that you haven't yet experienced. And the last one that I'm going to leave you with is count to 10 before you give in to the impulse of opting out of the project again. Count to 10 again before you give in to the impulse of opting out again. If you keep on giving in to that impulse to not even begin, you're never going to finish. Because in order to finish, you got to get started. So let's get started. Let's make a positive difference in our lives today in one small way. And I will talk to you later. Bye for now.